Hey, what's happening?
I always have to turn off the other YouTube channel where it's actually happening. It's like, oh my God, I've got an echo. What am I gonna...
Hey, welcome to the Fool's Journey. It is
Monday again.
Yes, that's exactly what I was just thinking. It's Monday again. It's
how did that thing get here so fast, man?
You know,
yesterday was just Monday.
Yeah, it seems that way, right?
Ep9 was on yesterday. Man, what are you talking about?
Oh,
by the way, thanks to our new and glorious friend. She's a wonderful woman, by the way. I really, really enjoyed getting to know her. Last week's show was the first time I'd actually gotten to speak face to face, and just super cool, man. This whole thing with the deck has connected me. Pretty much all the people that are in my life right now have been connected in some weird, strange way through the deck.
Yeah,
and it's just super amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, she came on last week and brought her massive throng of followers, and I think we're up to 150 views on last week.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Broke 100.
That's awesome. No, this whole journey has been a lot of fun since we walked out the door and started on this path. All sorts of connections have been happening and all sorts of energies going on, and I'm loving it, man. It's like my happy place was the live stream of consciousness on Thursdays. Now I've got two happy places, Mondays and Thursdays. So,
well, this place is always such a. It's like I'm supposed to be guiding the ship, but it's always this amazing surprise to me. It's like, wait a minute, like our guest tonight, Fiona, man. What a strange set of circumstances that whole thing was.
Yeah.
Kind of really super crazy. Tonight we're going to be talking about the card, the Chariot, which happens to be one of my favorite cards in the deck from just an artwork standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
This guy here, yeah, and it's a really glorious card to me. It's always just super uplifting and it's in a word, this card is about victory. It's about a lot of things, but it's about victory, and we're gonna dive into that.
There's so much amazing imagery in this card. You were saying that earlier, and it's like the colors, the patterns is a usual thing, like seeing different kinds of things, but here I love this mandala that you have in the center.
Well, that represents the Holy Grail. We'll go into that in a second, but the shape, it's that's in a the kind of big gray shape above that looks like a helmet, like an actual metal helmet.
Yeah.
But then if you go up above, right above where the metal helmet kind of thing is, and you change your perspective on that so that helmet is now a breastplate, and the head of the warrior in a helmet is now up there in that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. It just transforms as you're thinking the thoughts.
And all the armor out at the sides, his arms and everything.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy. And if you look the way it looks like, then if you take that perspective, his legs kind of come down, and you're sort of looking at the bottom of his feet there. He's actually riding in something. I'm like, wow, right. That is a trip.
That's so cool. Yeah, Brian. Wow. Beautiful.
I feel so lucky to have been part of
Dude,
these.
this stuff is phenomenal. There's just layer upon layer upon layer. And it's interesting because I guess the genre or the kind of artist that you are is called a visionary artist, and it's almost like you do this artwork and then it's it's channeled, you know what I mean, and it's it comes out and then you look at it and you're like, oh my God. A lot of times when I do my photographs, the whole human dollar thing that I do was just out of looking at one of my images, and it's like, hey, flip me, and do some symmetry.
I wonder what if.
Yeah. So I listened and I did it, and it became a whole second arm of work, and Yeah, it's amazing. And then after that, like meanings start to pour through, like what things actually mean. It's just so
Well, you realize when you're going after it, even if you're going after it with a specific intent in mind at the beginning,
right.
your subconscious is talking to you,
Yeah.
especially with these images with the smoke. That's the thing about the light painting. I'm in a dark space,
Yeah.
and I have a tool that's projecting light. So I'm actually painting pigment with light
Mhm,
in a
mhm, mhm.
3D space.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You
Yeah, yeah,
know,
it's amazing. It's amazing. Jill and I, Jill was like so inspired she wanted to try it. So
she showed me some of those. Those are
we just started
amazing.
playing, and it was just, it was just, again, it was, the intention was, hey, let's just experiment and see what this does. They've never done it before together. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and she's got some tools on order, and
Yeah.
your tutorial videos, by the way, are so cool. I mean, I didn't even really know they were there. And Julie's like, hey, did you see this angel tutorial? Oh, hold on a second. Am I breaking up?
You are. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Jilly, how you doing, baby? Good to see you. You never cease to amaze me. You really don't. You know, um, it's been really gratifying to have a number of people kind of latch onto this and really start going and take off with it in their own journey of exploration, which is, you know, that's the best this could be for me, which is the whole reason I'm doing it. And to have people jump in and really go for it, really just warms the cockles of my cold and dark heart. That's wonderful.
It looks like I'm still lagging.
You're still crackly and crunchy, and I sound good to myself. Do I sound okay to you? Well, now you're frozen. Dag nabbit. So, Jilly, how the study's going? Are you still making the sound? Are you still making that oi sound? Oh man, Jilly's one of those people that, like, you throw something out on, like, here, and she takes off with it and comes back with some new stuff, and man, that's always just such a surprise and a treat. Two of Swords, Chariot, ha 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 ha, Nine of Wands. What's really very funny is I pulled an angel card before this, and I got the Two of Swords also, and then I just did a quick single card pull before this, and I got the Two of Swords also, which is about two sides coming together for a harmonious peace at the moment. Not necessarily a lasting peace, but at least for the moment.
Momentary. Everything is momentary, right?
Well, yes. Unless you want to subscribe to the illusion that anything's permanent, or that any of this is actually even real to begin with, man. See,
so many options.
Well, that's what, when you realize it's all just fake, it makes it so easy not to just take all of it so damn seriously.
Yeah.
And I have to share some feedback I've gotten on the show, which I just am so excited about, man, because people have been telling me that, you're taking these concepts that are kind of lofty and out there, and you hear lots of big words associated with it, and like it's hard to connect, and that you're making it real to me in a way that nobody has ever been able to make me understand and feel like it's infinitely graspable. And man, I really hope that's the way it stays. And I think part of that's because, as much as this is the passion of my life becoming the passion of yours, it's still, it's just, they're tarot cards, you know. It's just life. It's only life after
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking
Indigo
of
girls, by the
speaking of that, I have to confess, and I'm hoping this is you can interpret this in some good way for me, and I know you can. I told you I kind of prefer these one card pulls, right?
Yes.
And this is what I pulled.
It's really fuzzy. Oh, you got death.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And I
does
know
that
you always say,
freak you out? Does that make you feel?
It,
Ooh,
it doesn't freak me out at first. I was like, oh, why did I get that? But it fell out of the deck, and I was like, okay, that's my card. And
never ever ignore
yeah.
that.
No, I never do. So, but you know what? It's interesting because so here's my own interpretation. Um, I have been talking a lot about needing to find some additional work that is defined by myself and an extension of myself, and start making money, and possibly even do that full time, whatever it might be. Um, and not necessarily be depending on working for someone else,
Right.
right? So something that I can call my own, even if it's supplemental to working for someone else at the same time, because I do love my job at the studio.
Right.
um
At some point, though, man, I've been really concerned for you because you're, and
I'm
this may
working
be
hard.
where the chariot comes in for this particular thing,
Yeah.
because you're kind of honing, you know, you've got lots of these options out there, and you can keep things at a certain level and have
Yeah.
lots of things spread
Yep.
out.
Yep.
But
Yep.
then when you want to start like getting one or two of them to really like go somewhere next level,
Right.
then you start having to
Well,
make choices. But then those are easy when they're there.
yeah. So here's the story. I've been working very hard, and it's all good. But my thoughts are, I need to be doing something else. And before I pulled this card tonight, I've been kind of playing phone tag with a friend of mine. Finally, I got in touch with him. He's got a wedding that he's doing this weekend, and he asked me if I'd be interested in bringing my projector and doing kind of like a light show, and projecting videos, and doing he had worked with me
Wow.
before, and he had seen me doing that. And he's like, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool, because not only is that like a paying gig, but it's doing something very specifically that I would want to be doing, and creative kind of new thing for me, with 3D projection and all of this. And so he asked me how much, and I was like, oh, what do I ask here? And I told him a price, and I was going to actually say, hey, this is what I normally charge, but I'm going to charge you half of that. And I told him the price, and before I even said anything, he's like, okay, cool.
Excellent.
And yeah, so my interpretation is a good one with this card. That you know what, I got the blur filter on, that's why it's happening, so I got to hold it here.
I if you associate that with an actual death, you're screwed. But
Right.
if you associate that with change, and
Right,
and
exactly.
the thing about it is that there's slow change that can take months
Right.
or years, and then
Right.
there's change that can take 15 minutes.
And I was thinking about the change of, getting some good work that I can call my own, and really, start to explore my
And
own
there it was,
thing. Yeah,
so
there it is. So
and that may very well say, here's the opportunity to make that leap sooner than you thought you might be able to make it. And when the
yeah,
window shows up, man, jump. Don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it too long,
I said yes, I was available. So he's calling me back tomorrow and making sure it's in the budget and everything is good. So
That's
there you go.
fantastic.
So I
All
have
right,
this
so
big focus.
our whole reason for doing this was honestly to teach you how to do tarot.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to share that with you. There's a bliss in that is just really wonderful.
Mhm.
We share that with art and photography and lots of
Mhm.
other things. And I'd love for you to actually like be in that zone. So that was the whole reason for us to do it.
Yeah.
And we're like tonight's the Chariot. That's the seventh card. Um, you know, What's your takeaway at this point?
I think similar to what you were saying, the feedback that you're getting is, I'm starting to understand it's the meanings are the connections and being able to kind of open up the interpretation to more than like tonight, like the death card, is not necessarily like specific to the death of a person. It could be the death of an old habit. It could be the death of,
A
something
way of
bad.
thinking.
Yeah, it could be the death of a way of thinking. Exactly. So I think I'm right there. I will say, I watched some people doing readings, be divine yourself. There's actually this local DJ on the Shark. It's like a rock radio, and he does this like tattoo and tarot thing. So I've been watching him, and it's cool. And I think for me, it's not so much like I don't feel like, and maybe it will happen. I don't feel like I can pull some cards and immediately be like, oh, this. You know what I
Oh
mean? And
no,
that's what
it'll
it
be a
seems like.
while before you do
Yeah,
that.
that's what it seems like, you guys do. Like you're connected to the meanings like so many times you've seen that card. So now you don't even have to think about, oh, what does that mean again? It's like, oh, I know what that means. And you also intuit like how it applies to the situation, pretty
Right,
quickly.
exactly.
But excuse me, but like again, that's why I pulled the single card. I
I think
made
that's
that
a perfect
interpretation.
way to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
would also like to encourage you to try this thing. Last week when we had B on, I think at some point I like blasted into a little micro version of what the fool's journey is. Like, yeah, the
Right,
fool starts off, blah, blah, blah. He meets the Magus, he gets his occult thing, goes to the priestess, she gives him the
right.
message.
It was a recap.
So,
Yeah,
right. So if you get those down to like a sentence or two like that, and you
right,
start
right.
constructing your own version of that story,
Gotcha,
and just
gotcha.
keep adding on to the story. So you tell the story, and
Right.
every time you tell the story, by the time you get to the universe, you've done the fool
Right.
like
Well,
22 times now.
yeah. Well, you pretty much nailed it. That summary that you said last week was like on the spot, and you had so much energy when you were telling it. It was awesome. It was so
I've told
entertaining.
that thing so many
You were
times.
just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like an interpretive dance of the fool's journey.
Oh, oh, that's so funny, man.
It was great.
So,
All right, so let's
so
get
we got a
through
couple.
the
We got a
chariot.
couple. Let's see what Jilly. What's going on? Oh, everybody's okay. Yeah, there we go. Two sword chariot. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, she was
Not,
showing me that before the show that she pulled the chariot right in the center.
yeah.
As the now, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Very, 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 very good. All right, so
You want to give us a breakdown of what the that's not the chariot of let me pull it up here, what the chariot means, or did we go over that
let's
already?
do that. Let's dive into that.
Okay.
The chariot is curious in that it sort of is a warlike martial kind of image, and like in the Rider-Waite versions and some of the other older versions, it's actually an armored warrior in a chariot, right? So it's such a militaristic martial kind of look, but you're going by that right now. That little sign out to the left that looks like a 69. That's the
Right.
symbol for Cancer. So it's within Cancer, which that's not really a martial sign. Scroll down a little farther. The planet that rules that's in that is the moon. So Cancer, the crab, hanging on to things, super emotional sign, super like intense with how they're feeling and hanging on to those feelings and that, which is kind of antithetical to the mindset that you need to be when you're kind of going to war, But that's the lesson of this particular card, in that you need to control your emotions, not really get rid of your emotions. But if you're having trouble focusing, if you're having trouble getting going, if you're having trouble starting on how to finish this road out, then being able to have a singular focus and to be oblivious to everything else except that goal, then that's the kind of energy you need at that moment. And that's the little mandala or a mandalar in the center of that represents, like, that's your core. That's what you're going after with all of your heart and your deepest soul. That's, in essence, symbolically, that's like the Holy Grail. That's the thing we're all questing for.
Right.
So you're going after whatever it is, with intensity, with direction, with determination, and a complete mastery of your emotions, which is everything you need for a war sort of scenario.
So is this almost like a significance of, after meeting those first presences, the magus and the empress and the priestess, this is like, okay, now you're setting out?
Well, the lovers, the last card we did,
Yeah.
the lovers, they're looking at each other. They're deciding which way to go. The fool is looking at the right side and looking at a marriage and a home and like wanting to get there. He's looking at the left side of the road and seeing the path and all this other stuff going on. And he's trying to make up his mind and like, what's the choice here?
Right.
And that once that choice is made, that's where the Chariot comes in with unbridled. I'm going after that goal, and
whichever it might be.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
It's not really determining what the goal is. It's just determining that once you decide, once you pick the direction that you want to go in, that everything you have is now directed towards that kind of energy.
Right. Well, you know what? Regarding what you were saying before, I definitely think that I'm absorbing this because instinctively I'm kind of finding these, interpretations that.
Well, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Me, all right.
No, not at all. Could you do your own version at this point of this fool's journey, kind of like I did?
No, but what I can do is I can go back and I can watch these episodes and really understand them, and get more out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course.
Build your own story.
Yeah,
mine's cool to like, but build your own to that, and then that'll be part of your fabric. Which I just really, really, really love. Hey, listen, scroll back down there. That the rune that goes with that is really super amazing. It's called Strength. Man, I don't know if you notice this or not, but I know
this middle symbol right here.
It's the one on the bottom corner on the left. One? Yes, that's a rune. That's a rune for strength. It's auras, which is it represents the ox. The big aurochs with the big horns and the hair and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
These are from the Norse kind of scenario. Let me get my. I'm going to read from you out of my handy dandy Ralph Blum book, which at this point, after 45 years of using, is about to really crumble away in my fingers.
Oh wow!
But it's super awesome.
We have a question though. Celestial Infinity asks, "What are your thoughts around the Chariot and blending the dark and light, masculine and feminine aspects of the self?"
Well, I think that those choices blended together are what become the Holy Grail in the center. And that those two things need to be in perfect balance and to be in perfect alignment for that to be able to function with a singularity.
Gotcha.
And straight at something with everything that's inside you directed there, not just one piece or another.
Julie's asking what the name of the book is that you're about to refer to.
It's called The Book of Runes. You can't really see it. It's by a guy named Ralph Blum. Blum.
Ralph Blum, The Book of Runes. All right, cool.
Here, hold on. I'm going to read this.
Okay.
I need to put a little light on this subject.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like
and this really relates to your death card as well, right?
Okay.
This is a rune of termination and new beginnings. Drawing this rune indicates that the life you have been living now has outgrown its form. That form must die in order that the life energy can be released into a new birth, a new form. This is a rune of passage, and as such, part of the cycle of initiation. Growth and change, however, may involve passage into darkness as part of the cycle of perpetual renewal. As in nature, the progression consists of 5 parts: death, decay, fertilization, gestation, and rebirth.
Wow.
Events occurring now may well prompt you to undergo a death within yourself.
Wow.
Since self-change is never coerced, we are always free to resist. Remain mindful that the new form, the new life, is always greater than the old. Prepare them for opportunity disguised as loss. It could involve the loss of something, someone, or something to which there is an intense emotional bond, and through which you are living part of your life now. And that's a part that must be retrieved so you can live it for yourself.
Wow.
In some way, that bond is being severed, a relationship radically changed. This rune puts you on notice that your soul and the universe support the new growth. Dude,
that's awesome.
See, that's what's a trip about the show to me, and why I look forward to doing every one of them, because they wind up being like a little magical event for me, and definitely for you. I hope that translates out.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%. Well. 1,000,000%, man.
My goodness sakes.
And I think that's you know, there's a part of me that it's the reason that I don't really stress out, and then I'm just like, I know that this is all for a reason. You know what I mean? I know that everything's gonna work out, you know.
That's the hardest part for me, not stressing out, not controlling the plan, and not stressing out about not controlling the plan. You know,
see, that doesn't come hard for me. That's easy. That's easy for me.
That's brutally difficult.
I'm blessed. I'm definitely blessed. So awesome. I think you know, like I said, I'm definitely learning.
Thanks for the question, Celestial Infinity. Appreciate that. Was great.
Yeah. Totally. I'm definitely getting it. I'm definitely absorbing this. And like I said, I think at some point I could start even watching back and reflecting on it. And, you know, I'm sure my own story will come out. Your story's great to follow for now. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a great template. You know, that's how I built my own. You know, it's like walking on the bricks of where other people walk, you know?
Absolutely.
And, you know, I was talking to Jilly about this the other day. You know, even now as I'm like sharing stuff, I've got amazing teachers that are just pouring stuff into me and you know, filling me up with stuff I just couldn't have imagined before. And the glorious part about it for me is like figuring out that you take your place in the chain, you know, and it's not about especially with the people that I'm dealing with right now. There are no hierarchies. There are no like masters, or they're like there's people that do and have been doing for a long time. So they pass down to the next link and the next link and the next link, and you take. It's a
great metaphor. Yeah, great metaphor for the collective. Absolutely,
it really is. You know. Well, let me ask you about that collective thing.
Okay.
Maybe this is just my own personal bias and my own kind of insanely obsessive need for uniqueness and finding my own individuality and not wanting, I want to share similarities, but I don't want to be like anybody else.
You're not,
you know,
you're not like anybody
else.
Here.
So when I hear collective,
yeah,
I see the kind of scary AI shit going on and people like chipping and like all of a sudden everybody's connected to the internet and their brain and like, you know, that's a nightmare to me.
You hear Borg, you hear Star Trek.
I do. That's exactly right. I just like the Borg.
So no. See, this is the way I see
it. You will be assimilated.
Yes. No. That is totally scary. And again, don't even stop giving that energy. But the way I see it is, you know, we've all been explained that we are the universe experiencing itself, right?
That's correct.
We're a perspective that is put out there in order to perspect, right?
That's correct.
And so the way I look at it is each one of us is actually a thought in the mind of God or the universe, and that we're just racing through the brain of the universe, and that's what makes us unique and individual, but we're also part of that brain, so that's what makes us collective.
Well, would you mind if I took that a step further? Because this is a subject of days and days and days and days of like
if it
deep,
resonates
like,
with you or
exploration. No, it's my theory. I went searching. Like, I have been fascinated with the concept that we're living in a simulation for a long, long time, decades, right?
Sure.
And when I first heard that, I was like, oh man, that's a funny joke. And I love just taking the hypothetical and thinking about, well, what if that was really real, right?
Sure.
So as I keep blowing it off, years and years go by, decades go by, I keep learning more and more, and I keep running that filter in front of everything, and it's like, that still makes sense. While other things are falling by the wayside and no longer make any sense.
Right.
That thing is like the one. So I've kind of come to the conclusion that we are.
Well,
I mean, hang on. I'm just getting started, bro. Hang on. What Okay. So my mindset is, you go back to, I went in search of the creator. Well, who created me? Okay. Who fucking created me, man? Because I want to have a talk with him. So I go looking, and I'm going back and going back and going back. And on one of those many journeys, I'd like, man, dude, think about it. At the beginning, like of so many of the spiritual and religious traditions, like Kabbalah, there's a formless potential there. There's no light, there's nothing happening, but it's potential energy. And that, for some reason, there was some impetus. A part of that separated, and it began considering itself. And in that consideration and those ideas and all of those thoughts actually became reality and were created forms in this space. So then, if you take that and just extrapolate that as infinitely as it gets, every single thing that it thought about is a reality on some frequency, and all of those things are having their own reality on some frequency. And bring it down to me and people. Like, think about, like, all right, the second a sperm and an egg form, boom, electricity starts generating, there's energy, cells start multiplying. That's kind of like a singularity, isn't it? And like, what happens from then is this expansion and this growth and this like changing and this like, that's kind of like the universe being created, isn't it?
Right.
And then if you think about, like, if those thought forms are taking place because something was thinking them up, and I'm just a thought in some other person's mind that they thought of that gave me life, and now my life is running amok over here. Right. They don't even have any idea that I'm functioning any more than I have. If you think about it, every single thought you've ever had, every person you've ever talked to, every conversation, every dream, every connection, movie, every piece of input is some piece in your personal universe.
Right.
Wow. And then think about those. No. If you're thinking about the concept of the multiverse, like, just on planet Earth, there's 6 billion multiverses, because your multiverse is created from the moment you're born. It's filled with so much stuff I'll never touch, no one else will ever touch. The same for every other person. So in effect, we're all the creators in our own universes, spurring other creators in their own universes. My God.
So you just went about, let's say you went about 600 pages into a book, right? So
sorry.
No, it's great, because what I was going to say is, you just went about 600 pages into the book, and I'm on the same page with you, exactly where you are. I agree with every single thing that you've said. But here's the cool thing about what you've said, is that quantum physics has actually taken science. So you said in every religion there was this moment of, there was first nothing and then it considered itself. Even in science, they have the Big Bang. You know what I
That's
mean? Which
true.
is,
Although the James Webb Telescope is providing information now that is already rewriting physics as we know it, and there is huge debate in the physics community that the Big Bang never even took place. So
absolutely,
interesting.
absolutely. And
Sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
distract you.
that's all right. And I think I might have mentioned it on this show, that scientists just recently created a positive and a negative molecule from nothing. They created an electromagnetic field in some sort of situation, and all of a sudden there was something from nothing.
Right.
Which
No, there was something from energy.
Well, no. Here's the thing, and this is the thing that I must have spoken about. Is this guy Morg? He put it this way. He said, "Math is the basis of the universe. So if you write down 1 plus -1 equals 0, that describes exactly what you're looking at there. It's just a different perspective of nothing being the 0, or you change the perspective and it's the same thing as 1 and a -1.
That's
So."
exactly right.
I mean, it's amazing that science and spirituality and existence and all of these mystical knowledge, this ancient knowledge is coming to fruition, and it's like,
Well, we're just now achieving instrumentation and
right,
ability to measure certain things that were completely out of our.
right,
It's just like the first
right,
microscope and looking at cells.
right.
I mean, the first time
But
somebody looked at cells, they were
of
like, "Oh
course,
my
their mind was blown.
god!"
But everything that you just said is also in the science community when they say they don't understand, but
True.
somehow they know that the universe is expanding. So just like you're saying, every thought you have, you've just expanded the universe by having a thought.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it's just amazing. And we are living in such an amazing time that, all of the shit that you're saying is a simulation, you can't let it get you down, because you've got to be like, there's something better than this, and eventually whatever pain or whatever crap I got to go through, eventually I'm going to be there. You know what I mean?
Well, if we're living in a simulation, I mean, I can't fight that, but I can figure out a way to live really good in the simulation. you know,
That's what we're
like,
doing, man. We're doing it right here and right now. We're living really good. We are in control of the simulation. We have created this right here, and we are driving, and I love it, man. It's awesome. So I actually want to segue a little bit into something. I want to give this some time. Um,
okay.
One of the reasons that I wanted to do this show is because I felt like you were such a incredible visionary artist, not
Oh,
only
dude.
not only with the tarot deck. This deck is obviously amazing. And I didn't actually get to, oh, where's my cover? I don't know where my cover is. I didn't get to hold it up, but this deck, here's the bottom of it. I don't know where the front is. Here you go. This deck is so beautiful, and your artwork is so beautiful. But even the video and the stuff that you do is amazing. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about this photographic novel that you made.
Oh yeah, creepy
Which I
baby
don't think
taxi.
I don't think that we've ever talked about it, and that will help. That'll give us a kind of segue into something. So let me just see here. Where did I have these files? Here we go. I think
Yeah, creepy baby taxi. I had done. I've been a commercial photographer for many years, and one of my regular clients was this company called Flash Sales that makes all these weird little, Walgreens dollar store kind of toys. And I had this whole stack of them that were just sitting around, screaming chickens. This little I call him creepy baby. And there were all kinds of stuff. And I shot this photograph just screwing around in the garden one night. And man, it was like, dude, this is a perfect story. So all of those characters wound up becoming interdimensional. They were throwaway toys in this life. in this frequency, but on every other frequency, they're magical, evil, fighting spirit warriors, and they,
So
creepy.
amazing.
Creepy Baby Taxi drives this trike that's like this interdimensional thing that he like folds time and space, and like I have put every single magical little trick I've ever learned in jokes and little things in this, and everything in it, the skulls, everything, they're all trash. They're all things I've recycled. Yeah, here you go. And it's the only graphic novel that I know of that like the artwork was done with light painting.
It's so unique and original and freaking beautiful. I mean, let me go back to that first page. This cover, just to even say, oh, that's a photograph, it's like such a unique piece of art. You almost don't even know, is that a drawing? Is that CGI? Like,
right.
What is that? And the fact that it's just your artwork, what you have been doing, like that's you, the essence of you. It's just so beautiful, dude. It's just amazing. So is that the first page? I guess we're going in order here.
Yeah. And the whole story of it, it seems like those are a little bit, it's not all the pages. That's just some star pages. But what the whole story is about, it introduces all of the characters, and then there is a big intergalactic New Year's Eve party where all of these people from all over the different galaxies are getting together to celebrate and trade secrets and listen to music jams and all kinds of stuff. And
so there's your book appearance right there. Your magic.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And one of the stars of this whole thing is the always effervescent Fiona.
Yes. Let me see if I could find some Fiona here. I know she gets introduced. Oh, dude, this is so beautiful.
That's Bling Pig, by the way. Bling Pig he rules, man. He's sweet. He's a healer. A healing pig.
So I know at some point, I know Creepy Baby is traveling throughout the dimensions, picking up passengers to go to this New Year's party. Oh, I think here's
exactly. Here we go. Yeah. So Happy New Year 2021. Yeah. So it was just a really interstellar, amazing thing. And, even Fiona has just a crazy story. It's like, it's this really cool fashion mannequin. And I'm wandering around in the garden and you wind up doing light painting in the middle of the freaking night. And it's very difficult to find people that want to get out of bed and come over to your place at midnight so you can photograph them, doing light painting, put some wings on them. Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, right, man. Hold your breath. Wow. So anyway, all of a sudden I go out my gate and I look over on top of here we go. This is Creepy Baby's twin sister, Pink, and she's a master tarot card reader who happens to use the Wizard of Oz tarot deck.
That's so amazing. Yeah, you talk about the multiverse and you talk about all the thoughts that you ever had, like becoming these other infinite possibilities and universes, man. I can't believe
they're alive.
What you have created here is just so amazing.
They're alive. They're totally alive. And there's 12 volumes. The next volume is the Screaming Chickens going from Brooklyn to Las Vegas to do a gambling. You don't have any of those yet. I'll send that to you.
All right. So this next folder I have is actually features a little bit more of Fiona, so we can start talking about Fiona. So why don't you tell me a little bit about Fiona? And I even heard we might have an appearance by Fiona.
It's possible. Yeah, she might be here. I think she might drop in for a bit. I looked over on top of this garbage pile and I see this one white hand and a beautiful white arm, and I go running over there and I grab that. I thought, man, that's that alone is awesome. The things I could think of to do with that. That's one of my favorite ones. And then later on in the afternoon, I saw the whole body, man, all of her parts, her legs, or everything. I went over and rescued her. And what wound up happening was she had a really big, nasty hole in the back of her head. So she was apparently no longer wanted by the previous owners. And I took her into my my home and made her famous. Now she's the intergalactic star of stage.
Yeah, apparently they didn't realize what was inside her head. That was
no, they had no idea what they were dealing with there at all.
Yeah, this is some amazing stuff, Brian. I could look at your art. I'm glad I didn't take any psychedelics before I started.
Well, looking at these for me is kind of like doing psychedelics.
It's almost like taking psychedelics. Yeah.
Oh, this is one of my absolute favorite ones. The reason I love light painting so much is that, when you develop your astral vision, it's just for you. There's no TV, there's no way to film that, and because you're actually working with light itself, which, you can make kind of simulate the way energy acts and performs, I can get closer to being able to reproduce and share with other people, man. I've always just found that so frustrating. Like, oh man, I'm seeing the most amazing things I've ever seen, and I can't share it with anybody. It's like, right. So the light painting has really become a really great way to do that. Go back to that one for just a second. Yeah.
Your stuff is just there's so many people kind of trying light painting now, but your stuff is just so unique, and from what I see out there, I mean, we're on this Eric Perret group, and there's so many people kind of doing what he's doing, but your approach to light painting is really so Brian Lahr. It's so the wizard,
Well, that's to me, what's the point otherwise? It's great. Like, it's cool to learn Eric's, like, on all those guys, Jason Page, Jan Parvanian, who's going to be on our Halloween show, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. All those guys, they have their own style, and I really enjoyed. A lot of them were very gracious and did their tutorials on showing you how to do it. And I've always enjoyed kind of scoping out the tools, the kind of generalities of it, but then you start doing your own expression with it. It's like, I don't like to do, a lot of people like to do those really just perfect flat spheres, circles. Eric's a master of that, but I always like mine to look liquid.
Right. No, I loved when I saw the tutorial, the way you were using, like, I had a bunch of tubes from Eric that I won on some Facebook post he made, and he was giving them away, and
Awesome.
I won them, and I just was like, I never really used them because I was like, I don't want to do the same thing that someone else is doing. But when I saw your tutorial and how you were painting the tube, doing things with the tubes, that really made your images unique. I mean,
well, that's the thing about, I only have one tool that is bought and paid for. Hang on one second. And that is my handy dandy, always my black fiber optics brush, right? And this thing is absolutely amazing. You can just,
that's cool. Yeah,
that's how it happens, and boom, wherever those little streaks are, those
it
are
seems
lines.
like you have a lot of control. Yeah, like to paint.
Oh,
like
I practice and spreading it out and getting little tiny things like that, and being able to actually, when you practice long enough, you can draw with it,
It's beautiful,
and you're seeing the trail of it. It's so bright in the dark that you're seeing it just for a few seconds, and you kind of get a handle on where it is. And that's why each one of them, when you look in the mirror, in the camera, it's absolutely miraculous.
Yeah.
This was a whole series of showing the person inside the outer mask. It's like that shell, like we all have this actual real us that no one ever gets to see.
Right.
And I find that immensely
Yeah.
challenging. Yeah,
I love this one.
I love that one too.
Yeah, so great.
Fiona has really taken on a like. I I talk to all of them. I talk to Creepy Baby. I talk to Fiona. Fiona hangs out and she's part of daily life now. And it's
That's
so
awesome.
crazy.
Yeah.
They all have personalities. They all have voices, and it's kind of funny. I guess that's what happens when you're a hermit and
Yeah.
spend too
Yeah.
much time by yourself.
No, but you kind of awoke these other dimensional aspects to these entities. You know what I mean? And Celestial Infinity was saying, didn't understand how it was done. Celestial, check out Brian's YouTube channel. Search out Brian Lar Angel Light Painting or on
Yeah,
YouTube.
Brian Lar light painting on YouTube.
Brian Lar Light Painting. There's a whole bunch of tutorials. He shows you the tools that he's made. He gives you the techniques. It's really wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
you can buy
just
your
like
own
this
stuff.
show.
You can buy your stuff, but it's really cool when like all of my tools are like I went to Home Depot,
Yeah.
and like my tubes, the tubes are fluorescent tube protectors that are super long, and
Yeah.
they happen to fit right on the end of this particular flashlight
Yeah.
perfectly. So it's like, man,
It just worked
I
out.
don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
see
then
people.
you go ahead.
I see people now who have like these vacuum tubes that are like kind of flexible and the whole thing kind of lights up and they can like
That's true.
wiggle it around and make like
That's
really
true.
cool, like three-dimensional, almost like these bands of light. There's
That's
all
true.
sorts of really, really cool tools out there. And like you said, you can fashion your own stuff. We were using Jill had brought this plastic bottle that it was blue colored and it had some print on it. So it was kind of like your tubes a little with some color to it. But whatever, we got to practice a little bit. But we're no Brian Lars.
Well, dude, I'll send you my very first one. Jason Reinhardt did this image out on this old desolate road up in the Blue Ridge Parkway, perfectly dark, and he did this swirl, this thing that was magenta. It was like, oh my god, it was perfect too, man. It was like perfect, like a computer did it, and it really just psyched me up to like actually do it. Jan Parvanian was the guy that kind of really inspired me to want to do light painting at all. And then a couple
Right.
years went by, I didn't really do it. And then I saw Jason's thing, and I'm like, man, I gotta have this.
Wow.
And the very first attempt to try to do that was just so amazingly awful bad. It's I can't wait to show you. It'll be really funny. I'll have that for you next
So
week.
that's kind of cool. Actually, I want to bring something up that's just totally right in line with this conversation. Let me just see if I have it handy dandy. Photo. Oh, there you go, Shanae. Okay, cool, awesome. So that's got to lower. Oh, perfect. So what I do with photography and light is not really light painting. Use up again. I think I'm
Yeah,
breaking up
you're
again.
dying there, my brother.
Hold on. You know
Death
what? It's
card.
because I've got no. I've got all of these photos open in the other browser. That's why. So I'm going to close them. Hello, is that better? Yeah, that should be better. I should be back to normal, right? Okay, good. All right. So hold on. Let me just open one. So what I do with my photography is I use a projector and I project images onto usually a model. I mean, it could be stuff like you're doing also. But what was cool is I kind of started doing it and then I've got to share the window. Hang on one second. Because I closed it. Chrome tab. There we go. So here's a reel I did.
So beautiful.
And the funny thing is, and now this is more literal because this is something that struck me after the fact. And actually, let me while I talk about this, I'm just going to bring up an older image. Hang on, this is probably chugging my computer a little bit, and that's why. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Perfect. So here I'm going to go to an older image. So this is one of the original images, and I had grabbed a bunch of like source images to use to project onto the model, and I've just found kind of inadvertently, I didn't do it intentionally, like all of this sacred geometry art was really intriguing to me as far as the way it was created and what I could use to project. So I ended up using this flower of life image on this girl, and then I kind of put it into the background back in Photoshop, and it became one of my favorite images. And I realized afterwards that I'm totally fascinated with, like you were talking about AI and stuff before, about the kind of the convergence of humanity and technology. And what I was doing here was I was overlaying technology on the humanity of the model with the projector. It was like a digital combination with the organic. And it was like totally unintentional, but as I started looking at the artwork, I was just like getting all of these messages and like, oh my god, this is what's happening. So that's why this more recent image, I used specifically, like, had that image technology and was more literal with it, just kind of experimenting. But I think I'm going to probably go more with this original type of image. I really, this one really resonates with me. It has kind of this divine feminine, more of a divine feminine and more of a spiritual kind of feeling to me than this image does. This one really kind of says some more things to me, but anyway,
I love that technique. It's just
yeah.
really, really, really wonderful.
Thank you, Celestial, and thank you, Jilly. Yeah, and it's weird. It's kind of like I did a bunch of it and then I stopped for a while just trying to make a living and not really focusing on my art, and I just restarted. So the one with the this one is more recent, and I got some new ideas and some new things coming. So you guys will see some more of that stuff as I create it. But it's great. It's just so great to be able to create and then
that is the food. That is the food of the soul, man. Creating and making things and sharing those and like spreading that out. Like, that's when life gets grand to me.
Totally. Yeah. And that's when you're in the flow. I know Jilly is also a photographer, and she takes some amazing photos, like of nature.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah.
Really, really beautiful stuff. And it's just like, again, I can look at it and I can appreciate, wow, that's kind of a cool moment to be in the flow, of just feeling that image and bringing it to life.
So I did a quick little 3-card pull for the week coming up for everybody that's listening and checking it out. And we got the Ace of Swords, which is really great for the beginning of new plans for things and stuff taking off and beginning. We got the 3 of Pentacles, which represents mastery over your work and your apprenticeship and getting to a point where you're making things that are getting people's attention and that they're actually paying you money for. A significant amount of money is that. And then the last but not least, the Lover's card, the 2 of Cups. And whatever relationship you're considering, you're in this mode of discovering each other and that wonderful bliss at the beginning of discovering something cool that you want to pursue further.
Awesome. Totally relevant reading as usual, Brian.
So next week, I challenge you to have a Michael Zinn version of the Fool's Journey narrative. Just, it's all right if you don't. I know it's a crazy weekend. Monday shows up before I blink. So
So then where are we at in the Fool's Journey? How many more cards? I know once we get to a certain card, then it becomes like
We are on the 7th card right now, which is the
Okay.
Chariot. And next week we'll be doing the 8th card, which is adjustment, and that's Libra and about balance. And
Okay.
then we'll be on Halloween, which will be the Hermit, which is absolutely perfect for that. And that's
Awesome.
seeking your inner
Awesome.
magic and letting your inner light glow with such brightness. It attracts
Awesome.
everyone around.
So, but then I know at some point, and I guess I don't know if it's the
22
end.
at the universe is where that normally ends. It goes all the way through the major arcana. The last major arcana card is
Okay.
the universe. Some people call that the world. My deck is the
Okay.
universe.
And then we get like a playing card deck where there's the one, the ace, the two, the three, of
Yes,
the
but the other thing
different
that's
suits.
also different about this deck is that instead of stopping the Fool's Journey at the universe, I picked it up with the minor arcana cards and took that all the way through those as
Oh,
well.
okay. Okay.
So the
Excellent.
whole
Excellent.
the whole manual and deck is written in that perspective. So,
Wow. Wow. That's why there's so many cards. But then and then the other ones I guess are called the suits, right? Like the wands and the
well,
cups.
no, it's they're called the minor arcana,
Oh, that's
and
the minor arcana
yeah,
cards. I got
and the other and the mate and the trump cards are the major arcana. There are 22 of
Oh,
those.
okay. I got you. So they're not usually combined, or they are?
No, they're combined, but they don't. But they're the major arcana cards, the trump cards, are about universal concepts and
Mhm.
things that are kind of global in your life.
Right.
The minor arcana cards, which are the ones that relate to the suits, right? Those are about more the kind of daily shit that goes
I
on with
got you.
you,
I got
right?
you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So
Okay.
a little bit
Cool.
more fine
So,
detail.
but so normally the story is in the major arcana.
That's exactly right.
Right. I got you. That's what I was thinking. Okay. Great.
Exactly.
Awesome. Exciting. Well, I guess we'll have to speak to Fiona another time. She'll have to pop in from whatever dimension she happens to be at at the moment. I was hoping we had a visit, but
You
maybe
know,
next time.
yeah, maybe she'll come back next time. I think I just needed a little more prep for her than I
Awesome.
anticipated.
No
So
problem. I
that's a good nature of the organic quality of the show, you know. And I really, 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 really thank everybody for showing up. Celestial Infinity, Jilly
yeah,
B, my
yeah,
good
yeah,
girl, man. Wow,
yeah,
what an
and
amazing,
you're
amazing woman. Nancy, thanks
yeah,
for
yeah.
being here. Yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys rock. And we love you on this journey with us. Absolutely. And I guess we will see you guys next week. Peace out. Adios.
Awesome. Adios.